Today we have a very special guest, Mary Fogle Loveland, who grew up in a coal mining family here in the valley, specifically in Harwick, right?
Yeah,
Your dad worked in the Harmer mine.
he did.
So tell us about your dad, who was the coal miner.
My dad was a very dedicated and proud coal miner. He grew up in a coal mining family himself. His dad worked in a mine. His uncles worked in a mine. My dad was, I think, in 10th grade when his dad made him quit school to go work in the Harmer mine to help support his siblings because he was the oldest child and he had 4 other siblings. Not only am I a coal miner's daughter, I am a coal miner's granddaughter. My mother's dad worked in the Harwick mine. And when the Harwick mine explosion happened, he had a nervous breakdown over it. There was a lot of his friends he's seen. And it really was bad for that family. They had a hard time with him.
There were many people killed.
Many people killed in that Harwick mine. You know, I only live right up the road from there.
Coal miners' families lived with the threat of danger and possibly death.
Every day. When I figured out that my dad was a coal miner as a kid, when I was little, but I can remember getting in the car with my mother and my sister and taking my dad with my mom to work. My mom used to drive my dad to work, so she had a car. We only had the one vehicle. I don't know how old I was, maybe 8. And then I realized one day that I was scared because when we dropped them off at the mine shaft, and that bothered me. When I realized that my dad was going into that shaft and going down in that hole, and that door was about 6 inches thick still, and I watched him walk down there. From that time on, I was so scared. And I remember crying, and my mom really had a hard time trying to calm me down. Like, it scared me.
This was the first time you realized that your dad was a coal miner, or realized where he went to work.
Or realized what he really was doing, going down in that shaft and that door closed behind him. And I just remember being so scared. I sat in that back seat of that car and I thought, am I ever going to see him again? Later on that night, because I think that was an afternoon shift, I was crying when I went to bed. I mean, I was always scared that my dad was a miner because, you know, back in the day when you didn't have phones and the communication wasn't very quick, when there would be a catastrophe or, you know, somebody would get killed in the mine, as a little kid, I can remember hearing stories that how did these families know that, you know, if their dad was killed or if the husband was killed, you know how they knew? They would find the clothes in a bag outside the door of their home. And then somebody would tell them that he was killed. And when I heard that, I was always scared as a kid. That always stuck in my head. You know, it's like, wow, geez, that's what they lived through, you know. But I always had that fear of my dad being a miner all them years, but I can thank God every day that he survived.